Hello my green fans and welcome back to the channel. After 6 months of break, we are finally back with new episode of Agram. And today we are going back to the center of the city and finally do a second part of the pedestrian zone. And if you want to see how I made Central Square and learn something new about Zagreb, stay until the end of the episode. After a long break from Agram and city skylines, we are back in game and started building next part of the city center. And as I said in the intro, it is the center square, but with a bit of surrounding streets and city blocks. But you might ask yourself where I was for all this time and how so I didn't do more content. So after Christmas episode, I did have a plan to come back sooner and continue Agram, but I got Cyberpunk 2077 as a gift and started playing the game, and I was surprised that I actually liked the game so much that I lost myself in it a bit. Especially after knowing that the game had so many issues at the beginning and me getting it so late. And when I was playing the game, I was happy that most of them have been fixed and the time spent playing was really fun. And after that, most if not all of you know what game came out next. I won't go into deep as the topic and the game are very controversial and at some points it got too political for my taste. But I did have fun with the game so much as well. Let's just say if you know, you will know. Then I did came back to the game around March as a cool new mod was out and it was Road Builder. The mod I and maybe most of modded City Skylines players waited for at least 2 years or so. I started making some experiments designing roads that are just like we have here in Zagreb, as workshop is limited by not having roads like Branimirova or even Vlaška. But then the game had update and we all know the drill when that happens. All of mod creators have so much work fixing and adapting mods to the new game version, and with that comes bugs, issues and stuff just making you frustrated. And in no way I put blame on anyone, it was just my issue. The game just frustrated me so much I was not able to enjoy it the same as before. But let's just fast forward to today and to stuff we know. The fact that we already have a date for the second installment of the game after 8 years of cities being the best of the best. And now I and many players can enjoy the game a bit less stressful, as this June was last update or major change. I can say that the mods are stable now, even though I had to adapt to the biggest change of all, and that was a loss of my beloved loading order mod. That is now Skype. And as Skype is a mod that is fully supported by some of the best people this community has, I am sure I will learn to love it just as much as I did its predecessor. But let's be honest and acknowledge that the game and the Agram would not still work without the community of modders that work so much in their free time so we could have fun with cool features in the game. I can only be so lucky that in 2 years since I started Agram, even with some small issues, I can say that the city works. From changing one anarchy mods for others and recently to another set of the same mods, all is still here. I had so many situations where I was telling myself, okay, just go set up the mods and just load the game, and if there is so much broken, just start a new city. But every time community was there and that did not happen. And even though we know CS2 is coming, I am sure many people will still play and enjoy City Skylines for years to come. But let's take a look at Google Earth and talk a bit about today's episode and what I am building here. As I said earlier, we are going to the center of Zagreb and will be focusing on Square Ban Jelačić, European Square and some blocks around the area. But first I could actually tell you how Zagreb even got its name. But the etymology of name Zagreb is unclear. It was actually used for United City from 1852, but it has been in use as the name of Zagreb diocese since 12th century, and it was increasingly used for the city in the 17th. first ever record is a charter by Archbishop dated 1134, and the older form of name Zagreb, and first record of modern name Zagreb is from 1689 map. Also notable name for Zagreb is also Agram, how I named my city in game. And Agram was used as a German name in Habsburg period. But maybe more interesting is Croatian folk etymology, where the name of the city has been derived from either the verb Zagreb, meaning to scoop or to dig. One folk legend illustrating this derivation ties the name to a drought to early 14th century, during which Augustin Kažotić is said to have dug a well which miraculously produced water. In another legend, the city governor is thirsty and orders a girl named Manda to scoop water from the Manduševac well, nowadays a fountain in Ban Josip Square, using the imperative Zagrabi Mando, or in English scoop Manda. And now when we know how the city got its name, we can also talk about Trg Bana Josipa Jelačića. The square Ban Jelačić is the central square of city of Zagreb, and it's named after Ban Josip Jelačić. And the official name is Trg Bana Jelačića, but colloquially is called Jelačić Plac. It is located below Zagreb Old City Cores, Gradec and Capitol, and directly south of the Dolac Market. It is also the center of Zagreb downtown pedestrian zone. The square's history begins in 1641, when a new marketplace was created on a plain below Gradec and Capitol, near Manduševac Spring, and over time buildings and access roads were constructed around the marketplace. The location, initially called Manduševac, was later named Harmica. Later in 1826, the cattle market was relocated to what is now known as Zrinjevac Park, but the groceries transported to Harmica on carts continued to be sold there until 1858. Later in 1848, the square was renamed to its present name, and a large statue of Ban Josip Jelačić on horse created by Austrian sculptor Anton Dominik Fernkorn was installed on the 19th October 1866 by the Austrian authorities, despite protests from Zagreb councilmen. Also, it caused unease among Hungarians as they see Jelačić as a traitor. One very interesting note was that already in 1891, there was a horse car line passing through the square's southeastern side, which was replaced by the electric trams in 1910 to 1911. Then, in 1946, the square was renamed to Trg Republike, Republic Square. Jelačić's statue was removed in 1947, as the new communist government on SFRJ Yugoslavia denounced him as a servant of foreign interests. Then, at that time, Anton Bauer, a curator of Glyptoteka Gallery, kept it in the gallery's cellar. Later, after World War II, car traffic through the square intensified, and already in 1975 the square became a car-free zone. For me, an interesting event is 1987 Ljetna Univerzijada, World University Games, that was happening the same year as I was born. At that time, the city used the event to renovate and revitalize the city. The square was repaved with stone blocks and made part of the downtown pedestrian zone. Then maybe one of the most important dates happened. On 11th October 1990, during the breakup of Yugoslavia and after 1990 elections in Croatia, Jelačić's historic role has again been considered positive, and the statue was returned to the square, but on the north portion facing the south. The name to the square was changed to Ban Jelačić again. The present-day square features buildings belonging to different architectural styles, ranging from classicism, secession and modernism. Many of them have antique facades which require renovation, and that makes them a common target for advertisers who cover the construction work with large posters. Today, the square is a common meeting place for people. Being the part of the pedestrian zone, it is also a large tram hub for many tram lines from where you can access any part of Zagreb. Also, one of the funny ways we like to arrange meetings with friends is just by saying let's meet under the tail, which automatically means to meet next to the Ban Jelačić statue. The square is also a place where today many events happen, from protests to much nicer things like fairs where homemade products are sold from small producers during summer, or in winter when Zagreb has its own large Christmas Advent fair. And now I will let you watch and enjoy the music and come a bit later and talk a little bit more. First postal service office in 1831 was located in Old Monastery in Opatička Street, and later in 1848 was established first National Postal Service Management. Very soon after, first telegram line was installed, and on 28 September 1850, first telegram was sent to Ban Jelačić, who was at the time in Vienna. With the increase of postal traffic in 1901 next to train station, first government building was built, and then later in 1904 in Jurišićeva Street, the first postal building. And this is the building I'm trying to recreate now. It had several renovations, and in 1958 it got its today appearance. And as the Croatian Postal Service history is long and full of events, I could ramble for hours, but I will leave you links down below and you can read more if you want. I also want to briefly mention one of the last things included in this build, and that is European Square, which got its name 3.5 years after Croatia became full member of European Union. But you might ask yourself, why is it important? And for me, the most notable part about this place is how it used to look before the huge change and today's appearance was achieved. It was fully car-centric area with just a bit of sidewalk and a large open parking, which in my opinion was very ugly place to go. And today is a fully pedestrian area where citizens of Zagreb can go to relax, and for the city, a nice additional space to hold fun events. I think that is all for today. I did have fun returning to the game and Agram. It was a nice and fun build for me, and I do hope you will enjoy the cinematics. It did take me longer to build and to come back to the game, but I hope to continue Agram further, as there are some really fun builds I planned for the future. I do need to say big thank you to my subscribers that stayed on the channel, patiently waiting for my return to the game and content making. And of course, if you liked what you saw today and want to see more, you could consider subscribing, hitting the like button and leaving a comment. It is free. Until next episode, thank you for watching.
Prijatelji moji neznani, nećemo vas zaboraviti. Na modrom nebu iznad Zagreba, na nebeskim tim ravnicama, jedna zvijezda samo za vas ja, čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja.
Da li čuješ kišu tu, ritam taj u tucmanu, Matt Collins još nam pjeva to, on nikad nije otišao.
Na modrom nebu iznad Zagreba, na nebeskim tim ravnicama, jedna zvijezda samo za vas ja, čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja.
Da li čuješ ko i ja, tu gitaru srednjaka, iako s neba čuješ glas, da li to fuma svira bas?
Na modrom nebu iznad Zagreba, na nebeskim tim ravnicama, jedna zvijezda samo za vas ja, čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja.
A kad bi vrijeme vratili, nikad ne bi plakali, jer Đurđica i Moka bi pjevali o ljubavi. Ma hoću li vas sresti ja, gore među zvijezdama, i hoćemo li opet mi smijat se i plakati?
Na modrom nebu iznad Zagreba, na nebeskim tim ravnicama, jedna zvijezda samo za vas ja, čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja. Na modrom nebu iznad Zagreba, na nebeskim tim ravnicama, jedna zvijezda samo za vas ja, čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja. Čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja. Prijatelji moji neznani, nećemo vas zaboraviti. Na modrom nebu iznad Zagreba, na nebeskim tim ravnicama, jedna zvijezda samo za vas ja, čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja.
Da li čuješ kišu tu, ritam taj u tucmanu, Matt Collins još nam pjeva to, on nikad nije otišao.
Na modrom nebu
voliš ko i ja tu gitaru srednjaka. I ako s neba čuješ glas, da li to fuma svira bas?
Na modrom nebu iznad Zagreba, na nebeskim tim ravnicama, jedna zvijezda samo za vas ja, čuva vas vječno, plava zvijezda sjećanja.
A kad bi vrijeme vratili, nikad ne bi plakali, jer Đurđica i Moka bi pjevali o ljubavi. Ma hoću li vas sresti ja gore među zvijezdama, i hoćemo li opet mi smijat se i plakati
Na modrom nebu